I had left a firm I'd been in for 17 years to start my own. I wanted something different for me and the people I worked with than what the traditional law firm model had always taught. We were trucking along and handling cases and doing great until one day my partner walked in and he said, "We need a plan B." And I said, "I don't believe in plan Bs. What are you talking about?" But I really did know what was going on, and the truth was we couldn't make payroll the next month. Being as old as I was and having been so proud of having never asked my dad for help, it was extremely humbling, and I felt at the time like I had just blown it. To be in his eyes less than perfect was extremely humbling. But he was like, "Yep, no big deal. When are you gonna pay me back?" And, I already knew I could pay him back, it's just the money wasn't in the bank yet. But that moment in time really forced me to take a step back, quit beating myself up over it. I was doing the best I could do. I was studying everything I could do. I had just underestimated that if I wanted something different for the life I had, the way of practicing law, that I really just had to reconstruct the way we were practicing law. And great lawyers go out and start law firms based on their reputation as a great lawyer. But we're not trained to be business owners. And until I was able to step back and treat the firm as separate from me and separate from all of us, and it was its own entity that needed to be nurtured, it was its own entity that needed to be taken care of. Once I figured that out, things really started to change. I think that the best place to start is give yourself an hour. It's kind of that James Clear thing. You just stack, you just keep stacking. Instead of Monday morning coming in and opening your email and starting to read your emails immediately, say, "I'm going to sit for 1 hour and I'm going to think about my business. I'm going to think about how this business is functioning." And that's where my tool comes in so well. My system's called the setup. My book is called the setup. But if you sit down every Monday morning, give yourself an hour, people, pipeline, process, product, profitability, and just kind of take the temperature of each one. How are we doing here? How is my culture going? How's the team relating to one another? How are they relating to me? Have I spent time with each person? Then go to pipeline. Are our cases moving in the way they should be moving? Is my profitability problem over here because I have cases in the pipeline that aren't moving? And then you go to process. Process, once you set it up, you're not sitting in process for very long. How are our processes doing? Are people following the process? Then you go to product. How is the client experience? How are the results we're getting? They focus on one of two things: being a lawyer and lawyering in product, or only looking at the bottom line. And I teach that you get a little more systematic in that. But if you take an hour and ask yourself, be curious, lawyers are taught to be curious. So be curious about all these things. Next week, maybe give yourself an hour and a half. Maybe you've identified some things that need work. Your 4 hours don't have to be a 4 hour chunk. They could be an hour today, 30 minutes tomorrow with your best paralegal who knows process better than anybody else, and just give yourself that time. For me, over time, what happened is I basically outmaneuvered myself out of a job. I don't lawyer like I used to. I coaching more than anything. I'm more free than anything. I'm not micromanaging anything because I micromanaged it at the front end. I micromanaged it by creating these systems.